Hey guys, this is a short review to help you guys with that unit 2. The first thing we are going to start with is given a ratio, we're going to change it into a simplified fraction. So let's say we're given a ratio of, let's do 10 to 25. Well, what do we know about ratios? We know that ratios can be written as fractions. And then we have to think about the factors of 10 and 25 that they have in common. 10 and 25 are both divisible by 5. So if we divide by 5 in that numerator and denominator, remember what you do at the top, you have to do at the bottom. You're going to end up with 2/5. Okay, so just remember, whenever you are given a ratio, you can convert that to the fraction, which can then be simplified. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. The next one is solving a proportion. So let's take a look at 5/8 is equal to x minus 2 over, let's do 12. We're probably going to end up with a fraction, but that's okay. Same process is going to apply. All right, so the first step when you're solving a proportion is to cross multiply. So I'm going to go ahead and do the 5 times 12 first because that's just simpler. 5 times 12 is 60. And then 8 is going to be multiplied by the quantity of x minus 2. From here, we are going to distribute. So we're going to have 60 equals 8x minus 16. Our next step is going to be to add 16 to both sides. And we're going to have 76 equals 8x. And again, we're just using inverse operations to solve, so don't let that piece scare you. And then last but not least, we are going to divide both sides by 8. And because Miss Moss made this up off the top of her head, we're obviously going to have a not fabulous whole integer answer. I shouldn't say whole integer, it's just integer. But we can practice reducing here. 76 and 8 are actually both divisible by 4. So just like our last one where we reduced 10 over 25 to get 2/5, we're going to do the same thing here. So let's bring 76 over 8 and think about what number will go into both of those. If you said 2, 2 is correct. It's just not the biggest one. 4 will actually go into both of these. 76 divided by 4 is 19. Again, I'm doing mental math, but you guys feel free to pause it, try these on your own, and then come back to me. So 19 over 2 would be the final answer for this one. If you wanted to convert it to that mixed number, you would have 9 1/2 or 9.5. All the same thing. All right, so again, I hope that makes sense. Please feel free to pause these as we go along, rewind it, make sure you understand it before you move forward. All right, our next question is in regards to changing a decimal to a percent. And if you recall, the way to convert a decimal to a percent is to move the decimal, move it to the right 2 times. Or if you're thinking about it, all you're doing is you're just multiplying it by 100. Because when you multiply that decimal by 100, you're changing it to that percentage. So let's take a look at 0.057. Okay, so if we're going to change this to a percentage, you can go to your calculator and do 0.057 times 100, or you can just move it over twice. That is the same as 5.7%. All right. our next question is to solve another proportion. I'm trying to follow along the way you're going to see them on your assessment. So just kind of keep this video handy as you're going through and make sure you're understanding the process, because that's what I want to know that you guys can do. All right, so let's do 9/4 is equal to x over, let's do 32. Okay, so again, we're going to cross multiply. We're going to have 4x, 4 times x, and then 9 times 32. If you need to pause, go grab that calculator, plug that in, you can. I believe it's 288. 9 times 2 is 18. 8, carry that 1, 27 plus 1 is 28. And then once you have cross multiplied, our last step is just to divide both sides by 4. 4 over 4 is 1. 1 times x is just x, which is why they cancel. 4 goes into 28 7 times, and 4 goes into 8 twice. So 72. All right, we're just moving right along. All right, the next question is all about given a sentence, like what is a percentage? So let's do 30%. We'll make life easy. Do a whole number here. 30% of 215. You know what? Let me do this real quick. Let me pull up the calculator just so you guys can kind of see how it works both ways. And what we'll do is I'm just going to pop this over here and then put this here. And then shrink this. Note, see what you can do whenever you are working on your own. All right. Close enough, right? Okay, so let's set this up as an equation, and then I'll also set it up as your proportion, and I'm gonna let you guys choose. So for me, when I write this equation, I always know that the what, that's what they want to know, that's our variable. Is always means equal. We are going to convert the 30% into the decimal. So on one of our previous examples, when we went from decimal to percent, we moved it to the right. Whenever we're going from percent to decimal, you always, if it doesn't have one, it's always behind the ones place. So we'll put it there, and then we're going to move it to the left twice. So it's 0.3. Of means multiply in math, just like is means equals, of is multiplication of 215. So here, all you would need to do is 0.3 times 215. So 64.5. Way to go, Miss Moss. With a decimal. Of course, it's cool though. So 64.5. Hey, that could happen on your assessment. You never know. All right, so that is how you do it using the equation concept. If you're not a fan of the equation concept, that's fine. You don't have to be. If you remember that the percentages is always related to that concept of 100. So 30 over 100, that would represent your percent. And they want to know what is 30%. So when you set up your proportion, our x would align with the 30, and then your total would align with the 100%, because you have 100%, which is 215 in this case. All right, so once you set up that proportion, you would just cross multiply. So you get 100x equals, and again, you can come over to your calculator. It's going to be 6450, just because I know. You guys will get the hang of it too. All right, I'm not really sure why that keeps popping up. That's okay. 30 times 2 1. Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys do your own calculator from here on out because that's annoying. But seriously, pause it and use the calculator as you guys need to. So you would have 6450, and then when you divide by 100, you're going to end up with the same answer. So x equals 64.5, which, like you see up there, you're gonna end up at the same place. So whether you choose to do the proportion percentage or whether you choose to do the equation, it's all good. All good. All right, let me close that for just a second. And I'm gonna go ahead and go back to full screen on here. Sorry guys, Miss Moss is having technical difficulties. Thank you for being gracious. All right, we are back up and running. All right, let's move on to our next example. Okay, it's another word problem that they want to, you can set it up as the equation or as a proportion. Okay, so let's say 45% of what number is 160. Okay, 45% of what number is 160? All right, so remember our key pieces. Of is multiply, is equals. What number? Remember, that's our variable. Always change your percentage to the decimal. So 0.45 and is 160. So I'm going to rewrite this just a little bit differently just so you can kind of see how it would normally be written. We normally don't have the multiplication symbol in between a coefficient and the variable, so you don't technically need that. Okay, so 0.45x equals 160, and then you are going to divide both sides by that coefficient, by that number that's in front of x. Okay, I should be slow enough for you guys to go over to your calculators as well. Plug that in, see what you get. All right, so x is equal to 355.5 repeating. Okay, so that's the repetition bar. If you're rounding it to the nearest 10th place, that 5 would actually round up to 6 because it's followed by a 5. So if they want a rounded answer, it will be approximately 355.6. All right. All right, we will stop there for now and I will pick it up on the next one. Thanks, guys.